The Lost Ones. Detective Amelia Collins stared at the faded missing persons flyers, the faces of Emily and Michael frozen in time. 15 years had passed since the children vanished without a trace from their quiet suburban neighborhood. The case had gone cold, but Amelia couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this disappearance than met the eye. As she pored over the old case files, a pattern began to emerge. Similar disappearances had occurred across the country, children vanishing near wooded areas, leaving behind only abandoned bicycles or toys. But what truly caught Amelia's attention were the reported sightings. Witnesses claimed to have seen the missing children years later, looking exactly as they did on the day they disappeared. Amelia's colleague, Detective Tom Martinez, was skeptical. "Come on, Collins," he scoffed. "You're chasing ghosts. Those kids are long gone." But Amelia couldn't let it go. She had joined the force because of cases like this, driven by a need to find answers for those left behind. She remembered all too well the pain of her own sister's unsolved disappearance years ago. Intrigued, Amelia decided to revisit the families. She found them broken, shadows of their former selves. Karen and John, Emily's parents, had divorced years ago, the strain of their loss too much to bear. Michael's parents, Lisa and Mark, still lived next door to Emily's old house, unable to let go of the past. "We've moved on," Karen said, her eyes distant. "You should too." But Amelia couldn't. She dug deeper, following the trail of sightings. Each lead brought her closer to a disturbing truth. The children had been seen near high-security facilities, often just before major data breaches or unexplained accidents. Her investigation led her to a remote research facility hidden deep in the mountains. Posing as a maintenance worker, Amelia infiltrated the complex. What she found chilled her to the bone. Files detailing experiments in age suppression and mind control, lists of children's names, including Emily and Michael's. Before she could gather more evidence, alarms blared. Amelia barely escaped with a handful of files and a flash drive full of encrypted data. As she sped away from the facility, her heart pounding, Amelia couldn't help but wonder if she had just stumbled upon the answer to her sister's disappearance as well. The thought both terrified and motivated her. Back in the city, Amelia was about to contact her superiors when she received a frantic call from Lisa. "They're back," Lisa sobbed. "Emily and Michael. They're home." Amelia rushed to the neighborhood, her mind racing. As she pulled up, she saw them. Emily and Michael, looking exactly as they did 15 years ago, standing on the sidewalk as their shell-shocked parents embraced them. But something was off. The children's eyes were vacant, their movements mechanical. They spoke in monotone, using phrases that seemed rehearsed. Amelia approached cautiously, her instincts screaming that this was wrong. "Emily? Michael?" she said softly. "Do you remember me? I'm Detective Collins. I've been looking for you." The children turned to her in unison, their eyes suddenly sharp and focused. "Target identified," Emily said flatly. "Initiate containment protocol." Amelia backed away, realization dawning. "Karen, John, Lisa, Mark, get away from them. They're not who you think they are." Chaos erupted. The children moved with inhuman speed, attempting to subdue their parents. Amelia managed to tackle Michael, struggling to restrain him. "Michael, listen to me. This isn't you. Remember who you are." For a moment, confusion flickered in Michael's eyes. Amelia pressed on. "Remember your treehouse? The secret password? The day you and Emily got lost in the woods?" Michael blinked rapidly, his movements becoming less coordinated. Across the yard, Emily had pinned her father to the ground, but was now looking around in bewilderment. "What's happening to us?" Emily whispered, her voice suddenly that of a frightened child. Over the next few hours, as authorities secured the area, the truth began to unfold. Emily and Michael had been abducted by a shadowy organization, subjected to experiments that halted their aging and programmed them as sleeper agents. Their return had been a mission to extract classified information from their father's work computers. As the children, now adults trapped in children's bodies, were taken to a secure medical facility, Emilia watched with a mix of sadness and determination. The case was far from over. Somewhere out there, more lost children were waiting to be found, their stories waiting to be told. Emilia turned to her partner, her jaw set. "We've got work to do. This is just the beginning." In the distance, sirens wailed as the night settled over the once quiet neighborhood, forever changed by the return of the lost ones. As Emilia drove back to the precinct, her mind whirled with possibilities. The organization behind this was vast and powerful, with resources beyond imagination. But they had made one crucial mistake. They had let Emily and Michael go, and with them, the key to unraveling their entire operation. Emilia glanced at the flash drive sitting on her passenger seat. Within its encrypted files lay the potential to expose a conspiracy that spanned decades and crossed international borders. She knew the road ahead would be dangerous, but for the first time in years, she felt a glimmer of hope. Not just for Emily and Michael, but for all the lost children, including, perhaps, her own sister. "I'm coming for you," Emilia whispered to the night. "All of you. No matter how long it takes, I'll bring you home."